Anderson and the university. One of the 4 teams still fighting for the NBA championship is the Portland Trail Blazers, and there is an interesting story with a local angle there. Tonight we want to introduce you to their trainer, Mike Shimensky. The Central Washington University Hall of Famer is the guy responsible for keeping the Blazers in one piece as they drive for the NBA crown.
Basketball, it was once said, is a non-contact sport.
The game itself is a very physical game, and you know the fact that people say it's a non-contact sport, that was years ago. But the game itself is very physical.
Mike Shimensky is a Central Washington University Hall of Famer, and he is also in his 5th season as the trainer for the Portland Trail Blazers. Essentially, he is responsible for taking care and at times piecing together one of basketball's best teams, and that is quite an investment to protect. The average salary in the NBA today is over $1 million a year per player, so the trainer plays a big role. And with the way the NBA is today, it's a bigger role than you might think.
Well, first of all, he's a trainer, and then he's a friend too. I think he's a person you can probably talk to about things. And plus, he's very professional about his job.
Shimensky went to Central from 1965 until he graduated in 1968. He transferred from Centralia College to play baseball for the Wildcats. He worked on his graduate degree at Central, and with some urging from current Wildcat trainer Gary Smith, he got into training. He earned his master's in athletic training at the University of Arizona, became the assistant trainer in Tucson, and in 1981, he broke into the highly competitive field of professional training as the trainer for the San Diego Clippers.
There's a lot of people wanting to get into the profession, and you know, as you know, there's only 27 jobs in the league, so it makes it awfully difficult. And basically, you have to be at the right place at the right time.
As if keeping these guys in one piece wasn't a full-time gig, Shimensky also must maintain certification with the National Athletic Trainers Association, and during games, he keeps track of timeouts and fouls for Portland coach Rick Adelman. But with everything involved, Shimensky says in some respects, today's athletes make his job a little bit easier than in the past.
We've been really lucky here because our players do an excellent job during the offseason keeping themselves in shape. But in my early years with the Clippers, a lot of the injuries that I saw in the preseason was a lack of conditioning. They use a training camp to get in shape, whereas here in Portland, when our players come to camp, they're already in shape.
Tomorrow we're going to hear more from Shimensky. He'll give us weekend athletes some pointers on how to avoid some of those injuries and how to treat them when they do occur. It's getting better, and a lot of us are going to try and go play some sports. Mike Shimensky, the CWU Hall of Famer and Portland Trailblazer trainer, is going to give you some tips on how to avoid some of those injuries, and when they do occur, how to treat some of those minor injuries. Sports is coming up next. 1985. Well, yesterday we introduced you to Mike Shimensky, a Central Washington University Hall of Famer and the trainer for the Portland Trail Blazers. Tonight, Shimensky offers you and I, the part-time athletes, some ideas on how to avoid some of the injuries which we suffer and how to treat the minor ones which will occur.
Over the course of an NBA season, even some of the best athletes in the world sustain injuries. Imagine that. And as far as the Portland Trail Blazers are concerned, it's up to Mike Shimensky, a Central Washington University Hall of Famer, to keep them in shape. What about you and I, the weekend athletes? How can we maybe prevent some of the injuries which we suffer?
Before you start anything, make sure you do some type of preconditioning. If you're a racquetball player or you're a tennis player, make sure that you do the proper flexibility stretches. Make sure that you're in, at least in somewhat reasonable shape before you get out and go all out on the court. And this will help in minimizing injuries.
The 1968 Central graduate has quite a few high-tech aids at his disposal when working with the Blazers. But just because these are athletes who are making millions of dollars a year, it doesn't mean they require much different treatment than us when it comes to those common injuries like sprained ankle and fingers.
I think that the first thing you want to do is you want to get ice on the injury. You want to get ice, elevation, and compression, which is, through an elastic wrap. And personally, myself, I like to ice for at least 72 hours minimum, and after that, make an evaluation from that.
Good advice from one of the best. Of course, Shimensky adds, if pain persists in any injury, you may want to consult a doctor. But be careful, although being careful isn't always as easy as it sounds.
And hopefully that's going to help with the weather getting better and people getting out. Hopefully some of injuries can be avoided this way.
Some of yours.
Yeah.
We hope. Well,
Let's hope so.
get some ice. All right. Recycling may not seem